Hey there, toy collector friends and Bat fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and today we're doing another entry into the Batman Automobilia collection, and it's quite soon after the last entry, which was the Robin bike, which you may have seen a day or so ago. I'm dropping in because I got long story short, I got a message saying that the Robin bike and also the 1960s Bat bike all look really good, but was there a version of the Batpod produced, which is sort of a modern equivalent of a Bat bike? And the answer to the question is yes, and it is also possibly the worst entry into the Batman Automobilia collection. And I was wondering however I was going to get to it, so I thought, well, actually I'll use that query as a reason to sort of stick it in, almost like a bonus entry, because I usually do them every 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm coming hot off the heels of the Robin bike to go back to the Dark Knight movie, and I think also it appeared in The Dark Knight Rises. It's the Batpod, and all I can say is brace yourselves, because it isn't in and of itself a bad model of the Batpod. My issue is their choice to include a figure. And I'll explain why I say that in a second. Because some of you may be aware, if you've been following the channel for a while, that one of the things that I don't do is collect sort of hero, collector or Eagle Moss vehicles and models that include human-esque figures, because they don't do them very well. Now, if ever there was an example of how this is true and how it almost ruins the product, it's this figure. Because I mean, and I'll be honest, it doesn't, as I'm looking back on it now and zooming in a bit, it doesn't look quite as bad as I recall, and we will get it in hand shortly, but it didn't look good. It doesn't look great as a Batman figure. They need to do too much facial detail, and as a result it is a bit like the stuff of nightmares if you see it in hand and up close. The Batpod itself overall I think looks really good, but to me it's a prime example of why them doing figures isn't great. I mean, the chin of it all is in and of itself a bit terrifying. It for me, and I know some people may disagree, and that's absolutely fantastic. I hope you do disagree, but for me it's not great. So let's get it out of this case, and we'll follow the usual format, whereby we'll look at the lenticular backdrop first, and then we'll get to have a look at the Batpod itself. Whilst I'm just getting this close, by all means, please do drop a like to the video if you like this sort of thing. And if you haven't done yet, please do drop a subscription to the channel. It's completely free and it really helps boost the video with the algorithm. And of course, it helps me get to my next subscriber milestone. So this is the lenticular backdrop. Unlike the one with the Robin bike, it isn't damaged in any way, thankfully. It doesn't really do much in terms of giving us any. There's a little bit of depth of perception issue, possibly suggested. You can see the building there on the left moves a bit when we bend it, but the predominant feature here is the Joker character, which you can see also moves about a little bit due to the lenticular nature of the card. But it doesn't. He's so small on there that it just kind of gets lost. It might have worked better if it was, again, I've said this before, if it was sort of circular and it was around like that, but being square and flat, it doesn't really give it any additional, to me, any additional sort of depth of perspective. So it doesn't really add anything. And I think that Joker figure is a bit lost, and if you get the wrong angle, it ceases to exist. So it's tricky, that one. So again, I like the concept of it. I just don't know if it works particularly well. But we're not here for the backdrop. We're here for the Batpod. Again, we can see here that they have gone a bit to town on the design of the base plate. This time it looks, you can see the road work there. You've got a double yellow line. You've got what looks like what looks like a crossing, to be honest, which he's going along the wrong way. You can see that it is like all of them screwed in, so it's perfectly safe. It's not going to go flying. So let's get a bit in close first of all at the Batpod, because I think that's where we need to focus our attention in the first instance. So you can see there's some really good attention to detailing around the handlebars. You can see the brake system is coloured in silver. You can see the gun array here, either side of those tyres. The tyres themselves are rubber, or at least they feel rubber, which is nice and chunky. The treads on there are really good, and the design around those weapons really great. We'll come around the front to have a look at those cannons, and you can see the articulation, or the intended articulation there, and the design does make it look a lot like it's just sort of come out and been put together as an escape mechanism from the Batmobile. Underneath we can see a little bit of engine detailing there. Hopefully you can see that. Underneath the body there, you can see the knees fit into those knee guards there, and the feet go against those plates there. There's the rear tyre. Again, it's in rubber, which is very nice. I'll also point out that it feels like the cape is in rubber, but it isn't, I don't think. I'll just pull a bit of fluffy dust stuff off it. Because it doesn't have any soft movement. It's very definitively fixed, so it's not rubber. I'll tell you what I do like that they've done here, and again, from that angle it's not so bad. So it's one of those wonderful things where you say, yeah, from the back it looks okay. I like how they've got it on an angle, so it looks like he's taking a turn. It's not just square, it is actually on an angle. I think that's really well done. And again, you can see there's the chain that goes around the rear wheel, which I think is nicely pulled out. And so here we have the bat suit. Let's take a look at it whilst we're here. You can see his utility belt there, pulled out in gold, which is nice. His boots. There is a nice flow to the cape. I won't deny that. And there's the front of the bat suit. I think that it's just, for me, it's I'll just see if I can. It's just this. It's just this face sculpt. I mean, the eyes are grotesque. One is looking at you, one's looking for you. I mean, it just doesn't look. It looks terrible. It's everything. It's everything that people rightly complain about in terms of model painting. It just isn't good. It looks like it's been done, and this isn't meant to sound as a I mean, it is a criticism, but it's not a criticism of people who do it not for a living. But I know I couldn't do it better than this, but it's not my job. So it's like it's been done by somebody as a hobby. And again, even then, people who have this sort of thing as a hobby, quite frankly, I think would probably do it better. You know, maybe I'm being super harsh on it, and feel free to tell me if you think I am. But it just doesn't look great to me. If I'm brutally honest, it doesn't look great, and I just don't think there's any excuse for it to not look great. And I don't know whether the answer would have been to have released it without the figure on it, because again, I think it's not very substantial. So I think they probably thought, well, if we're going to sell it, we do need something on it, and we do need Batman on it. So I understand where they've come from and why they've landed on this, but I think if you were going to do it, you just needed to invest a little bit more effort in that head sculpt, because believe you me, the head sculpt does not currently do it justice at all. And I think the pod itself does work. I think it looks like it is good. It's a good entry into the range. I just think it just also illustrates why that level of detail in a figure isn't their strong suit. It just isn't. But that's my personal opinion. I'd love to hear yours below. Do you think that this is a good representation of the Dark Knight, or is it in fact just a dark nightmare that we have to look at that horrendous face painting? What do you think of the model overall? I think, as I say, I think the pod's quite good, but I'm open to hearing what you think. And as I've mentioned before, if there is a particular vehicle, be it one of Batman's or Robin's or Batgirl or one of the villains that may have a vehicle in the range, do let me know. Either let me know in the comments below, or you can message me, as people have done, via Instagram or my Twitter account. Just look for the Time Traveling Toy Collector. You will find me. And let me know, and I will dig one, and I'll dig it out, and I will walk us through it, and hopefully it's in my view slightly more successful than this one. So that's why I think it's not the most successful, but it's mostly not successful because of the Batman sculpt, not because of the bike itself or the Batpod thing itself. So it's sort of a 50-50, maybe 60-40 in terms of its viability. Anyway, thank you for spending the last 10 minutes or so with me. I have been the Triple TC, that's the Time Traveling Toy Collector. You have been a wonderful audience, and this has been the Batpod from The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises movie, as produced by Hero Collector and Eagle Moss. And it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty, which the Batpod might be, really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.